Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's State of the Community, City and County Address. I'm Heidi McCutcheon. I'm the Executive Director of the Shelton-Mason County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
And hi, this is Pam Bowles, Executive Director of the North Mason Chamber in Belfair, and we want to thank all of you for attending, the chambers, the EDC board members, and of course our members at large that have joined us as well. We really appreciate you being here today.
So we want to hit on just a few housekeeping items as we get things started. We are recording today's presentation. You should see on your control panel that there's some handouts. We have the slides that we'll be going through, as well as today's agenda. We will also be posting this recording on masonchamber.com after we're done. We do have the opportunity to submit questions via that same control panel. You'll see questions, you can type them in. And then Deidre will be reviewing those with the speakers after the presentations are done. So before we begin, we are going to put this poll here for you guys. Basically, just let us know where your business is located. You can click on the answer that best describes you and then just hit submit. And it looks like we're kind of getting there. We've got about 70%, 75% of you have voted. We're going to go ahead and close the poll just here in a couple of seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. And then it appears that about 60% of you are inside of the city limits, and we've got about 40% of you inside Mason County, but not inside the city limits. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through today's presentations. So with that, let's go ahead and introduce our first speakers.
So our first speaker is with the 220 has, 220 has posed unique challenges, and we are pleased to convene these local leaders to discuss our state of community. We have expanded this year's program to a 4-part series. In the upcoming weeks, you will be hearing about local schools, our ports and our utilities, and also our local tribes. Today is our pleasure to be joined by City of Shelton Mayor Dorcy and City Manager Jeff Niten, along with County Commissioner Sharon Trask.
So the first speaker is Mayor Kevin Dorcy. He is a proud Shelton High School graduate and a lifelong Shelton resident. Professionally, he's held a variety of jobs, although most of his occupational career was as a self-employed contractor. He's since retired from Washington State Correction Center. And since 2005, he's been the proprietor of Urocco Coffee Company with his wife, Kathy, who was his high school sweetheart. Together, Kevin and Kathy have raised their family in Shelton. Their 3 boys are now grown, married, and have given them 6 wonderful grandchildren. He has the distinction of being the last elected commissioner for City of Shelton, and he currently serves as the council's mayor. So welcome, Kevin.
Today about the state of the community.
And Pam, you want to introduce Jeff also?
I will, yes. Jeff Niten has served as city manager for Shelton since 2019, January 2019. Prior to his appointment as city manager, Jeff spent 20 years working in the municipal governments of Nevada, Oregon, and other locations in Washington, focused on land use, economic development, and project management. Jeff holds a bachelor's degree focused on public policy from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and a Master of Public Administration degree from the University of South Dakota. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Okay. PowerPoint's coming up here.
Okay, so you want to leave it on that?
Jeff, you should be able to go now.
I don't see the PowerPoint, but
Oh, well, let me pull that up. There you go.
there we go. Okay. Mr. Mayor?
All right. Thanks for having us again. Talk about the state of the community for the city of Shelton. I'm happy to be here today. Here is your city council members. I'd like to go real quickly and introduce a little bit. First, I want to go with Deputy Mayor Deidre Peterson, who's been a huge help. Let's move on down to Kathy McDowell, who is in, I think, her second term. Then we have Councilmember Eric Onisco, Councilmember Joe Schmidt, and our two newest ones, Councilmember James Bode, Councilmember Megan Feast, and I'm in the upper left.
So for our COVID-19 response, this has thrown everybody for a loop. I like to say that after 6 months or so, we've settled into a tempo, but I think for all of us, that's not really true. But we did do quite a few things. On March 13th, the City Council adopted an emergency ordinance and we closed all city facilities to the public. We were able to have a majority of our staff work from home, which has been a great help back and forth with the governor's orders on the Open Public Meetings Act and everything else. But essential departments like our police and fire departments and our water and sewer departments have been able to adapt and continue serving the citizens of Shelton through this unprecedented pandemic.
Here's a graph that shows our permits for residential dwellings. 2016, you can see they were pretty low back there. 2017 picked up a little bit. 2018, there was several homes built up, I think mainly up by the high school. 2019 dropped down a little bit, and then COVID hit and dropped down a bunch more.
Yep.
So in the total permits, so it's about the same word, but you can see in 2020, even though it's dropped down, there are still several permits being taken out. People are doing a lot of work on their homes, decks and that roofs, that sort of thing.
So we do have a number of projects, a number of major commercial projects that we're very excited about and very pleased about. We have the new facilities at Shelton High School that I know a lot of people in the community toured when that school was first opened. We have potentially a Wendy's and a Starbucks coming to town, and that's great. That project right now is in the permitting phase, and we could not be more excited about that. We have a new dialysis center. I'm sure many of you have seen the work that just started earlier this week up on Olympic Highway North. Our YMCA is moving along very quickly, and we're very happy about that and can't wait to see that facility open to the public. And we have a new gymnasium at Bordeaux Elementary. On the Parks and Recreation side, we have 40 acres of parks. And 119,000 square feet of buildings in addition to all the grounds, the streetscapes, and the roadsides that we maintain. And the council earlier this year adopted the PROS plan, the Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and Trails plan for the city that outlines a number of the things that the community has asked us to do and thought that were important for the future of Shelton. In this plan and how we're going to take care of those and the schedule that we're going to complete those on.
The finance department is leading up implementation of OpenGov for the city, headed by Aaron B. Miller and Terry Schnitzer. OpenGov will assist with the entire budget process for all city departments. the goal of increasing transparency and accountability throughout the city operations. Open Town Hall, part of OpenGov, online forum for civic engagement.
I also wanted to mention a few things with regard to city finance. First, OpenGov is very important for transparency for the city. Citizens or anyone else can look and see the dollars that we have and how we're spending those dollars to meet the strategic goals of the community and our council. A few other things on the finance side. We are in the process of refinancing $2.7 million in sanitary sewer debt. And that is taking advantage of the very low bond rates at the moment in order to make that happen. That's a big deal for both the ratepayers of the city of Shelton, current and future, and for the city. It's important that we take the opportunity to save dollars for the people that live here when we can. A few other things. We are investing some of the CARES Act money from the federal government passed down through us to us through the state in order to make our operations as efficient as possible. We make that possible by investing in technology, and we are looking at asset management systems so that we can maintain the infrastructure that the city needs to run, and also permitting, so we can make your permitting operations here in the city as easy as possible. Everything online is our goal, and you only need to come in if you need to speak with one of us, or we can do it on a platform like this one. I think everybody's gotten used to that over the last 5 or 6 months. And the police department. As you all know, Chief Moody has announced his retirement. That is a loss for the organization, but we are certainly happy for Chief Moody and his family. He has been the police chief here for 6 years. And when I first started in January of 19, he was invaluable to me to help me become a part of the community and introduce me to people. We're going to miss him terribly, but we have started the recruitment for our next police chief, and we want to make sure that the community is involved in that recruitment. We hope to have a new police chief on by middle of January of next year, and then we can wish Chief Moody well and see him on the canal in his boat during retirement. I'm sure he's looking forward to that.
All right, more about the police department. We have 2 police canines that are funded through community partners and donations, which is very important. Both dogs are cross-trained in narcotics and patrol work. Both received 15 weeks of training, and both are finally on duty. And we're glad to have them. It's a very expensive program, but we're very happy to have them. We also got 2 bikes that were donated to us were in a grant form by Sierra Pacific Industries. We're very thankful for those. And we have officers being trained on those right now. And they will, I'm assuming they'll be out and about more in the next summer, I'm assuming. We have new badges for the officers. The old badges said, I think on them, Shelton Policeman, and now they say Shelton Police Officer, which is for obvious reasons. All right, I got more here. And I want to talk a little bit about the accreditation program, which is very important and very, very hard to keep up with the stringent guidelines to stay accredited. Is very important. Records clerks processed 14,059 reports in 2019, and they're at roughly 7,600 reports as of August 1st. So they're on track for about the same amount, I think. In 2020, we've restructured the command staff. We now have 2 lieutenants in charge of 4 patrol teams. Sergeants are on each shift and greatly improved our level of supervision and accountability and safety for all.
One of the things that the police department works very hard on, and our code enforcement officer in particular works very hard on, is code enforcement for the city. There were 4 tons of garbage and trash pulled from the hillside on the north side of SR3. Many of you, I'm sure, noticed that activity as it was taking place, but that's not the only place around the city where we've had enforcement actions. You can see the numbers there. The majority of the citations issued were for dog-related incidents, but we are moving forward and looking at other areas like the pictures you see on the slide there, where we can do everything we can to get those areas cleaned up and appropriate for our city.
And in our animal control department, there were 80 dogs that were impounded, 27 dogs surrendered, 53 dogs returned to owner, 40 dogs adopted, and 30 dogs to adopt a pet.
For Central Mason Fire and EMS, you can see the numbers there, almost 2,000 medical transports. That puts a tremendous amount of strain on our partners at Central Mason Fire. We in the city are also working on a long-term interlocal agreement with Central Mason Fire so that we can maintain our relationship not only in the near term, but in the long term as well.
Our new Public Works Director, Mr. Jay Harris, I'm proud to introduce him tonight or today. He began his employment with the city in April. He comes from the city of Newburgh, Oregon, where he was Public Works Director for 8 years. We're excited to welcome Jay to the city and appreciate his leadership of the Public Works Department.
Jay has been a tremendous help starting right in the middle of COVID. Could not have been easy. I know, in fact, it wasn't easy, but he did make immediate impacts on our operations within the city shop, instituting a rotation of operators, only 2 or 3 employees on the site per day, to make sure that we keep our employees and our coworkers safe, doing as much as we can to do that. Separated breaks and lunch periods, sanitizing vehicles and equipment, and making sure that everybody's wearing the appropriate personal protective equipment. The other thing I wanted to mention as part of this is Jay brought to me and to the council an idea for an advanced metering infrastructure project, and that's just a fancy way to say new water meters. Our water meters at the moment are all brass. They have to be hand read, and we are looking to, again, invest in that technology to bring us up to speed with employee time, so that each and every meter lid, somebody doesn't individually have to go out and lift and read the meter and avoid keying errors. So we are investing in technology that will make our operations much more efficient in the future.
We also had to replace a water main out at the Coffee Creek where they're doing the construction out at the end of town on the end of railroad. And during that process, they had to be replaced. And once the new culvert was installed, an upsized water main was installed with a new fire hydrant also, and at the intersection of Holbert and Shelton-Matlock Roads. This will provide new fire protection and help city crews. Work was performed by Scarcella, who was the ones that did the work on the intersection, and it saved some money because they already had their equipment on site. Moving on to the next one. Oh yeah, okay. What's the wrong one?
Oops.
I'm sorry.
Did I go too far?
Residential paving, yeah, okay. Public Works crews are currently prepping areas up on Mountain View on the east side for paving. City is doing the prep work and the post work. The contract, we're using a contractor for the paving. At the stormwater treatment plant, we installed 2 new UV modules that helps keep the disinfection system running to meet the shellfish standards, which is very important to the city of Shelton. We installed new ultraviolet turbidity meters used to open up a conditional area of Hammersley Inlet to shellfish growers that would otherwise be closed. And we also replaced old plates in the membrane bioreactor 1 that ensures proper separation of solids.
The other part I wanted to mention just real quick, we do have a map of the paving area on our website, East Mountain View, and a map of the chip seal areas, which runs near the hospital where we left off last year up to Wallace Neeland, and then down Wallace Neeland to the west. We weren't unfortunately able to include it in this presentation. Council approved that for us last Tuesday night. But the map is available on our website, or you can contact anyone at the city and we'd be happy to share that with you.
Public Works has some new equipment which will assist in us in working more efficiently. We bought a small roller that helps with asphalt compaction in tight quarters. We have a new vacuum Vector truck, vacuum excavator jet truck. Helps with cleaning basins. Time to clean and catch basin has decreased by over 50%. So this truck has helped out tremendously. And we also have a snow and ice removal flatbed truck. And that's the end of our presentation. At this point, can we turn it over to Jeff for any questions?
Hello, everyone. Taking a look, we don't have any questions submitted from the audience at this point. So if you have questions, by all means, go ahead and send that through the questions in the control panel. If for some reason you are not able to do so now because you're listening in from your phone, feel free to reach out to the city following this presentation, or the chamber can always pass those along. We did have one question that just came through, and it's what type of meters did you say?
They are, they're from a company called Census, and they are magnetic meters that basically have no moving parts, which means their life cycle lasts much longer. Our current brass meters are, as with all equipment, as they continue to wear, the tolerances get wider, and they're not as accurate as they could be, but they're called Census, and we'd be happy to share that information with you. Get in touch with us, myself, or Jay Harris, our Public Works Director, and we'd be happy to talk with you about that.
All right, and another question came through asking if there's any news about the Hall Equities development.
There has been on and off discussions with Hall, but as of this moment, there is nothing new that has come in that is concrete that is on the table.
All right, and no other questions have come through. So at this point, thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to move on to the next section of our presentation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Right, that was wonderful to hear that first part of our program today. And now we're going to move on to Sharon Trask, our Mason County Commissioner for District 3. Sharon was elected in 2018 and is the current chair of the County Commission. She serves on a variety of boards, councils, and commissions, including the Washington Association of Counties Board of Directors, Pack Mountain Workforce Development Council, Lodging Tax Committee, and the Mason County Finance Committee, just to name a few. Prior to holding public office, Sharon had been a business owner, a domestic violence victims advocate, a paralegal, an executive legislative assistant to the House Minority Leader at the state capitol. She and her husband, Ted, have 3 children and 6 grandchildren. Very nice. Welcome, Commissioner Trask.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. It's fun to be here. All right, looking to see if I've got control. Oh, there we go. All right, well, happy lunch hour. This has been an unusual year to say the least. I can't believe it's already September. This is our commission. I have to say, my hair's changed a bit, but I feel very fortunate to be a part of this commission and to be a part of the county. So moving on to some of our budget highlights. The legislature has handed us many unfunded mandates, and so to meet those needs, we've added additional staff to the district court, juvenile court, sheriff's office, public defense, public works, and IT. And I'm proud to say that we adopted a balanced budget in 2019. We met the reserve requirements and fully funded the rainy day fund for the 2nd year in a row. And I'm proud because of the budget and the actions, or because the budget and the actions of our elected officials and department heads, we were able to avoid layoffs and reductions in service. Many other counties have not been that lucky, so I feel very fortunate. We're also taking advantage of the low rates to refinance some of our debt. All right, so looking ahead. Ooh, did I skip one? I did. Trigger fingers, they're happy. The county's received a lot of grants helping us help Mason County, and also to meet the requirements that the state and the federal government have put on us due to COVID. We've got the CARES Act funding, which was $3.8 million, and that helps us with the PPE, upgrades to Building 10, helping our business and some other uses. Plus, we also received great news that we're going to receive an additional $1.3 million. And I believe the city is also receiving a chunk of that too. Some of the different things that's helping us move ahead and helping some of our businesses are the CDBG grants, and they come from Department of Commerce. And we're using those to give forgivable loans, also known as grants, and helping some of our businesses along the way as well. As of the end of October, our COVID expenses were well over 1.5 million. And of course, that just continues to increase. I do want to, at this time, give a shout out to our health department nurses. Many and a lot of the other players, they've put in many hours doing contract tracing and making sure that people have PPE, and just helping us move forward to progress. So looking ahead to 2021, we received the preliminary budget on on Tuesday. And we're always looking for ways to save money and increase our customer service. And I'll hit on some of those highlights in just a moment. We finalized the collective bargaining agreements, and also have helped guard against any layoffs in the event of a downturn. In our planning department, most of our, I guess all of our offices were closed for 30 days in April. Kind of funny that, just a little side note, March 13th was when everyone received the order to close. That was also my birthday. That's a date I will never forget. I'll try to forget, but I doubt I will. In our permit types are all of our permits were up from 2019. So 2019 we had 223. In 2020 we've had 286, and the year's not finished. So it's exciting to see that. Our residential permits are up as well. So I'm very excited to see that. Oh, and also another side note, we now have 4 permit techs and an additional front counter person. So we are looking forward to increasing that staff as well. Our health and housing SmartGov is growing in popularity, and it's also being used by our planning and health departments. We also have a new tracking system. It's called the online RME, and it's for system septic system maintenance and tracking. It's pretty cool. You can go on there anytime. Feel free. Check it out. As you can imagine, our food safety program is pretty busy with our restaurants and other businesses, helping them to comply with the COVID restrictions. Moving on to Public Works, we have 2 new employees there. We'd like to welcome Mike Collins and Victor Rett to our team. Mike is our new county engineer, and deputy director. Victor is the new finance manager. So we'd like to welcome them. We're as always, we're always working to improve our outreach to the community and to tap into the local expertise on projects. Some of those projects are the Skokomish Valley. This is ongoing, and when this is finished, it will really help our valley, help the Skokomish Valley. Some of our partners in this, almost said partners of crime, but I wouldn't want to go there. It is our Army Corps of Engineers, the tribe, conservation districts, and many others. Now the Belfair Sewer Extension, we're very excited about this one. It is going to help so many people and help our Mason County grow. As you can see, we received much needed financial assistance to help complete this project. I'm excited to look to the future for Belfair and for Mason County. Now this is pretty exciting. Our Russellwood wastewater treatment plant, we received an outstanding performance award from the Department of Ecology by complying with all the requirements. And of course, the credit goes to our operators and our management team. Fish barriers, who doesn't like a good fish barrier? I mean, who doesn't like to improve a good fish barrier? This was an amazing project. I encourage you to walk out there, well, probably drive out there and then walk down to the culvert. The culvert is huge. I stood in it and I looked tiny, very tiny. So I'm not sure, but it is worth a hike down. I'm not sure how many fish will use it, but it turned out to be quite the fish highway. Now, due to COVID restrictions, we're having to add 2 large courtrooms and a large jury assembly area to make sure that people are socially distanced. And all of that will be going into building 10. I'm sure you can drive by and see the fence up around it. It's going to look pretty nice. Of course, we're having to rush so that we can comply with all the restrictions. Our sheriff's office has been very busy, keeping us safe and responding to calls. It's interesting to look at their stats from years past. Through August 9th of 2020, they already have over 14,000 911 calls. And here you can see in 2019, a total of 24,132 calls with 625 arrests. And as we look ahead, you always know that there's going to be more unfunded mandates that come down. One of them that's on our way will be body and dash cams. We don't have a date when that will go into effect, but I'm sure the legislature is looking into that. And now the topic everyone's waiting for and would like to see go away is COVID. So we've been operating since February 28th, so a total of 188 days. We have our team, our Emergency Operation Command team, and they are a group of amazing people, very passionate about keeping Mason County citizens safe and well. Some of those team members are our hospitals, our schools, the city, mental health professionals, MACECOM, and the EDC, and so many others. One of the silver linings about this is now we know that we can look to the future for any other emergencies, and our team is there. We're ready to tackle anything and make sure that we can get through this, or through the next emergency, I guess. So I'm quick. You probably all know that I'm not what do I want to say? I'm not a very good politician as far as public speaking. So please feel free to reach out to me. There's my email address, office phone number, cell number. I'm in my office most days, and I always have my cell handy. Deidre?
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sharon. So we had a few questions come through during that time. The first is asking about the Belfair sewer expansion, and is it going to go out along Highway 3 versus Old Belfair Highway? If there are any construction timelines available or plans for commutes?
The construction timeline, this is going to take a few years, and this will be out the freight corridor. It was also known as the Belfair bypass, but this will be out the freight corridor, and we're working in conjunction with WSDOT, which is helping to save our county a lot of money by working together.
Great. And another question we had for you, Sharon, is with fire dangers increasing, is the county considering a county-wide ban on all fireworks?
On all fireworks? Probably not. We do follow what DNR, what they put up. So as far as fire restrictions, we follow their guidelines, and also work with our local fire departments and fire districts.
Another question is, where can someone go to get tested for COVID locally? That's
a good question. You go to Mason General. They're the ones that are providing the tests for Mason County. You can also go to your local doctors, but the Mason General has been doing an amazing job. They have the testing center. It's up by the hospital. It's a big white tent. You can't miss it. Make an appointment. I believe their phone number is online, but make an appointment if you want to be tested, and you can go there, and turnaround is real quick. Mason County, the Mason General has been working with Mason County Health Department, and they're also a part of our EOC team, and we are so lucky to have them as part of that team, because they keep us updated. You know, how many people are in the hospital being treated, and how many positives, how many negatives. They're a real asset to our team.
Great. We also had a reminder come through via the chat window that 211 is also an available option if you're looking to find out about testing sites for COVID and a number of other resources.
Yep, exactly.
Another question for you, Sharon, is there an update on the Mason Transit Park and Ride project in Belfair, and when is it planned to open?
You know, they're working on it, and I'm not sure. Honestly, you got me on a good one. I can look up the dates and let you know. But if you want to know, Mason Transit definitely has that on their website. They're doing a great job as well. I think the roundabout is finished, but the transit center is going to take a little bit longer.
And do we have any other questions from folks? I don't see anything else coming through the chat window here, or excuse me, the questions panel. So in that case, Sharon, thank you so much for your time today, and I'm going to turn it back over to Pam and Heidi.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, really good information today. We are really proud to bring this to you. The Shelton-Mason County Chamber of Commerce, along with the North Mason Chamber of Commerce and the Economic Development Council of Mason County. Our thanks to our presenters. Thanks for joining us today. We do hope that you log in over the next couple of weeks. Every Thursday we'll have this. Next Thursday will be education. So we'll have North Mason School District, Hood Canal School District, Shelton School District, and Olympic College. We will be beginning that a little bit earlier, so 11:45 next week, so that we can get all of our speakers in. And so we'll begin with North Mason School District, so all of you up north that are interested in that. And then we'll end with the Shelton School District. So if you don't want to stay for the full full production, then you can join us as early or as late as you'd like. After that, we will have Ports and Power on the 17th. And then on the 24th, we'll hear from both the Squaxin Island tribe and the Skokomish tribe. We do know that you have some questions. We keep getting questions about the two rallies happening this weekend. So there is Black Lives Matter that's planned for Shelton's Post Office Park Sunday the 6th at 2 p.m. There is also a Back the Blue rally that will be on the intersection of First and Railroad at the same time. We have been in consistent communication with Darren Moody at the Shelton Police Department. He assured us that he has the Washington State Patrol's rapid response team. So there will be nearly 20 officers there. Mason County and Thurston Sheriff's Departments will also have some people, and so they will have a presence, and hopefully it will be a peaceful protest as people are exercising their rights.
All right, thanks, Heidi. Again, I'll just say, please, up in the north end, share this information. We'll be putting out a weekly blast for the next 3 parts of the series that Heidi talked about with our local schools, our ports and utilities, and the local tribes. Encourage you and others to join us. This is an opportunity for us to find out what they've been doing, what they're doing now, where the future goes with that, and the success of Mason County. So thank you all for joining today, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks. And thank you again to Commissioner Trask, Mayor Dorcy, City Manager Niten. We also thank everyone for attending today's webinar. If you do have questions, you can see our contact information there. Thanks for bearing with us as we try this new platform. It is a little bit eerie speaking to the camera and not getting any interaction back. But I had a couple of good laughs at people and was entertaining and good information. So thanks again, everyone. And we will hopefully see you next weekend or next week. You will receive a survey on today's presentation. Please complete that. Let us know what you think and what you liked and what you didn't like. In that email, you will also receive a web link to today's recording. So thank you again to all of our speakers. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Sharon. Bye, Pam.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, we're here.